Hey everyone. So before I get into this video where I'm going to share several things that have helped me out along my spiritual journey, I just wanted to let everybody know that I kind of received a message that I needed to start opening these videos with some sort of affirmation and then closing them with a message that I had received that this tribe needed to hear. And on that note, I just wanted to give out the most sincere thank you. I rebooted this channel just a little over a month ago. And as of last night, I think it surpassed the 100 subscriber mark, which I know is not huge numbers, but to me, it is a huge thank you. I just need to give a huge thank you to each and every one of you. The entire point of this channel was to build a loving and supportive community where I could share things that have helped me out along this transformative journey. I've spent well over a decade of my life studying everything that I could from spirituality and best self practices. And so if I can shorten even a single person's length of time in order to get to that highest and greatest self, well, that's the best gift that I could ever receive. And so the affirmation that I kind of received was, no one moves through this world the way you do. And you should be so incredibly proud of that, because it has taken everything that you've experienced up to this point to become who you are. And if there's somebody out there that isn't seeing the value in that, well, that's their loss, not yours. So for anybody who hasn't seen my face before, hi, I'm Elizabeth Blackwell from Blissful Home and Body, and I specialize in setting sacred spaces and helping you out along your journey to your highest and greatest self. So let's get started. As I get going into this video and I share a bunch of these different items that have served me so deeply, I'm going to give a little bit of a disclaimer that this is not an infomercial. There are some things that come out of my shop, but I created them because I was fulfilling a need in my life somewhere. And then the majority of these things are just items or things that I have come across along my journey that have impacted me very deeply. And I'm just a very deep believer in them. I have zero financial gain in any of these. I don't even have Amazon links or anything, or I'm not an Amazon affiliate, anything like that. So please don't think that there is any reason for me sharing these items outside of, I just want others to know some certain things that have been of huge benefit to me along my journey. I tried to break these down into like 10 items that helped me along my journey. But one, I found that I went over, and two, I found that they kind of naturally broke themselves down into groups. So to start off with, I'm going to share some things that have really helped me out with my meditative practice. I am a huge believer in meditation. There's actually a very old video up, I don't even look like myself, about where I share about how meditation changed my life. And so very early on in my journey, I found these. They're sleep headphones is what they basically are. These are the Bluetooth ones, but they go around your head and they have the little flat speakers so that it lays flat against your ears, and it's just so much more comfortable. And what I found is that whether I was doing guided meditations, or now I tend to do high frequency music, or I'm going to share a little bit later another thing that I do during meditation, but it just helps me to block out the rest of the world and go within. But it's done in a very comfortable way, so I'm not being distracted by, an uncomfortable pair of headphones. I always keep at least two pairs because I use them so frequently. I have these for when I'm doing yoga, stretching, things along those lines. They actually have the little buds that fit in your ears, but I tend to use these more. It's Navely is the company. If you just go to Amazon and type in sleep headphones, you'll see hundreds of different pairs, and they're not very expensive, but they were a total game changer, and I absolutely love them. The second thing was a little bit more of an investment, but I absolutely adore them. This is their glasses, as well as I do them with banded headphones sometimes, but it's a machine that actually, it is a light and sound frequency that pretty much immediately drops your brain into that meditative state or a frequency before you're doing something. So it comes preloaded with a bunch of different areas. The visualization one is my personal favorite, but it has ones before sleep to help put you in that dreamlike state, or before learning to put you in that more lifted state, or it can help, revive you, completely depending upon what you want to do. And I absolutely adore them. And I have to share a little bit about how I came across these, because it was so impactful of how I found them that I immediately invested in them. So I work a lot with Body, Mind, Spirit Expo. It tends to be my tribe, and I tend to find a really good customer base there. But I had a friend that I knew generally what she did. She has the large machine that she can do entire rooms at a time. But I was coming to the end of the weekend, or we were coming to the end of the weekend. And when it comes to these longer expos, by the time you get to the end of the weekend, I'm toast. It's 3, sometimes 4 days. I'm hauling things around. It's expending a lot of energetic exchange with customers, things along those lines. And so as we were packing up, I had said to her, I'm like, oh, I never got to try your light machine. And she looked at me and she said, well, you have a room here, right? I said, yes. She said, well, let's take it up to your hotel room and I'll set it up and you can try a session that way. And so we went up to my hotel room and she set it up for me. And I think she did a 30-minute session for me. And I remember standing up after that and going, I could go dancing. It just restored me so deeply. And so I immediately ordered a pair, and I have loved them ever since. I will include the link if you would like to try these out. I actually can't rave about them enough. They are a little bit of an investment, but they've been a complete life changer for me. I take them when I travel. I take them everywhere. So the next item that I stumbled across along my journey is the jewelry I wear, specifically the pendants that I wear around my neck. And I remember being very surprised. I didn't expect jewelry to be as impactful as it was. And so I have to give a little bit of the story of how I came to own the pieces, because it took me a while to get there. It was again at an expo, and this was several years ago, and my children used to travel with me a lot. And it is a very common thing at these expos if you hold a skill set to teach. And my son came back to me, and I think he was 13 at the time, and he's 18 now. But he comes back to me and he's like, I just went to this most amazing class. This guy was talking about sacred geometry and manifestation, all that stuff you talk about, Mom. And I remember being a bit affronted. I'm like, you'll go listen to a complete stranger, but you won't listen to your own mother. But so they were naturally, both him and my daughter, who would have been 10 at the time, were kind of naturally drawn to this line of jewelry. And so I purchased them each, one of the smaller pieces at the time. And I remembered how much they enjoyed it, and that they would talk about feeling different. And so we do tend to do several of these expos throughout the year, and you'll see similar people. But I remember walking past the booth space, and specifically the triangle piece, that I just kind of felt called to it. So I purchased that piece and was wearing it and just felt more balanced. I remember being surprised, which I don't know why it surprised me. I'm completely aware how items impact us, but I just never really thought of jewelry. And so I just felt more balanced and was finding myself to really enjoy the line of jewelry. I don't tend to be a very jewelry-oriented person. So my son, then when he turned 16, he wanted one of the more elaborate pieces. And I remember the gentleman telling me all about, what the piece did. And it was the Trinity piece. So it's a bigger triangle, but it has, similar to this one, it's a suspended magnet in between copper. And I purchased that for my son for his 16th birthday. And again, I just kind of saw some growth and balance within him. And then a period of time later, through Instagram or something along those lines, I remember seeing this piece. And it was labeled as the Eclipse Necklace. And I've always been a moon person. And so I just felt I was drawn to it. And so when I was talking at a show, I remember saying, "Oh, you came out with a new piece. I just kind of wanted to see it," and would give it to me, and he handed it to me, and I was holding on to it and just instantly felt like it was something that I needed to have. It actually took me quite a period of time before I ended up getting it. But I remember him explaining to me that it was the nurturing pendant. And I had this assumption that it would make me a better nurturer. Well, once I purchased the piece and began wearing it, that wasn't what I found at all. I actually found that it nurtured me, that it had this energy to it, that it put me in a state of taking care of myself in a way that then I could be a better nurturer. But I found that it nurtured me, and I was just very surprised by that. Again, I shouldn't be. I live in this world. But as not being a person that tends to wear a lot of jewelry or decorate myself, that these pieces were impactful to me, and they have absolutely helped me along my journey. And so again, I'll include the links down below so that if you're drawn to it in any way, that you can find this individual. Actually, this individual ended up being one of my teachers later on, and that was absolutely of service as well. But that'll all be included down below. Again, there's no financial gain for me in any way. I'm just trying to share the things that I've kind of stumbled across. This next kind of group I have just labeled as self-care. I just did a video about sacred self-care. I'll try to link it up here, but it's something that I believe very deeply in, that we need to do things to nurture ourselves and pour back into ourselves so that we have that energy for growth and manifestation, all of those things that we're trying to create. So for this one, it's my journal. This one was gifted to me, but you don't need anything fancy. Anything, a regular old notebook, whatever you've got laying around the house. But it is a practice that can so deeply help you along the spiritual journey, whether it is the self-care of getting things out of your head and onto paper so that those thoughts stop spinning through your mind, or you work on gratitude work or visualization and goal setting. All of those things. I so highly recommend any journal that you can do these things in order to just give you some guidance along that spiritual journey, and it gives you some insight back into yourself. The next item is something that comes out of my own shop because I create them, but it is something that has become a game changer along my spiritual journey, which is intention candles. Now, I can only attest to the ones that I create, but overall, a candle that will help to not only set your space, but will give that nurturing energy back to you, as well as what you're trying to bring about and create. I've got me time going behind me. You will see one burning in every single video that I do because I always have them burning around my home. This is Tranquil Vibes, which I have going a lot of times during my ritual baths, which we're going to get into next. But it is something that has just helped so much. And I created it because I had a need in my own life, and I knew that I had that energy and the know-how to create a product that would serve that purpose. The next item has become pretty much one of my parts of my daily practices, but it is a ritual bath soak. Now, again, these are the ones that I have several, but these are the ones that I create. But if you know of somebody that is creating them, or you can even create them for yourselves. But it is something that you're going to add to your bath water that should serve you. A good ritual bath should have physical benefits. So these are really high in magnesium. So I always tell everybody use them at the end of your day because it's going to make you very tired. But it should nurture you physically. But then it should have things like salts in it to help energetically cleanse you. And then the different herbs that are added in order to set that energy about either the healing that you're trying to do or what you're trying to bring about. The three that I create are a healing one. I have a release one, which is meant to both detox the body as well as let go of that energy. And then I have a soothing one, which has a lot more butters and oils and things like that to nurture the skin on top of it. But they all, and again, doesn't have to be through me, but a good ritual bath should always have those added benefits so that as you are setting up that bath space, that you can put that intention in, and it will really serve the body, the mind, and the spirit. The next item that I'm going to share with you is actually not an item at all. It's an app that I have found that has definitely served me very well. The name of the app is actually Sound and Soulful, but it's a subliminal messaging app. And I found it because it was created by another YouTuber. The name of her channel is Magnetize Yourself, and she has no idea that I'm even putting this out there. But one, I could listen to her always. She has just this most melodic voice, but her messages tend to resonate pretty deeply with me. And then she created this app and I tried it out. And the subliminal messaging, what you will hear is anything from a variety of different nature sounds to high frequency music. But the subliminal messages under it cover hundreds of different areas, from, manifesting abundance to supporting that feminine energy or that sacred feminine, to mindful eating, all sorts of different areas. And I'll link both her channel and her app down below. But in the areas that I have utilized this in, I have certainly seen significant growth. And it's just another one of those tools that I very much believe in. The next tool that I have found that I utilize on sometimes multiple times a day is Moldavite. And I know Moldavite is a very polarizing stone overall. And I'm going to show you the Moldavite oil that I create. But if you're not aware of what Moldavite is a stone that was created when a meteorite struck the earth and it fused with a tektite in Moldu, Czechoslovakia. So it has both that extraterrestrial along with the terrestrial energy. and it is a very, very high vibration stone. And some people love it, some people hate it. My explanation of it is moldavite is like energetically putting your foot on the gas. It will never bring anything to you that wasn't already on your path. It just tends to speed things up. So I specifically make a moldavite oil. I don't know if there's other people that make the oil version. The reason I do it in an oil version is, one, it helps to spread that energy around, but also there's small shards in the bottom of each bottle. And so it allows you to use that energy. You can't carry small shards with you, but yet you can use it in an oil form. And so it allows you to use that energy of moldavite without having to invest several $100s in a piece. And moldavite is also one of those things that, because it is a high value item, it's also commonly faked. So it's something that I can stand behind the quality of. But I use it every single day. I usually do a couple of drops. I like to do third eye, temples, back and neck, wrists, sacral and heart chakras. And I will set with my hands. I'm probably hitting my microphone. Sorry there. But it will, I then spend a few minutes of what I'm letting go of, because moldavite tends to speed up things, the removal of things that no longer serve. The stories I've heard is, I got a piece of moldavite and I broke up with my significant other, or I lost my job. And I'm like, well, then the significant other wasn't who you were meant to be with, and the job wasn't what you were meant to do. But I will spend some time of what I am letting go of that no longer serves. And then I will spend a few moments of what I am calling back to me. So again, moldavite is one of those things that you can find in a variety of different areas. I just happen to do an oil version of it that has some other things that I never want to say it's meant to slow down, but it's meant to target the energy in order to bring in both the letting go of what no longer serves, some of the protective aspects, and then also some self-love properties and things along those lines. This last item is really kind of a generality, but was at the cornerstone of changing me and kind of almost bringing me along this spiritual journey, which is herbs. Many years ago, I was introduced, or I met a Native American woman. She was using white sage to cleanse the area, and I felt such a huge difference. And it's why. So then I knew something was different there. So that kind of set me off on why was there a change. But then several years later, when I moved back to the Midwest and I wanted to be a source for herbs, it's actually why this YouTube channel got started, because I knew if I was going to carry a product that I wanted people to have the proper information, because there's a lot of bad information when utilizing herbs within your space. But when I say herbs, I'm not just talking about what you burn in order to burn, diffuse in an oil form, any of that, in order to cleanse or set a space, but using them internally as well. That was one of the big changes within physical things. I started studying herbalism, and whether you're using them as adaptogens in order to help your body adapt to stress or for energy. I have a deep belief that when herbalism is used correctly, it can replace a large chunk of pharmaceuticals that are out there. But herbs overall, again, I've got, whether it's in bundle form, this is Yerba Santa, it has a very empowering feeling, or you're using sage to cleanse and clear your space, or you're using them, this one is one of my teas, but this one specifically is my Dreamtime tea, which has all of those things to help calm you down, but it also has a large amount of mugwort in it, which if you use mugwort on its own, just as kind of a little tip here, it will kick off some of the best dreaming, well, some of the heaviest dreaming. That's not even a good word either. Some of those active dreaming that you've ever seen. And so using these natural items in order to be in all sorts of areas have just been a transitional point to me and along my journey. So I hope that this list will serve you, and that if you try any of these things, that they will help you as deeply as that they've helped me along my spiritual journey. As I said at the beginning, I've kind of felt this pull to, with each of these videos, just share messages that seem to be coming at me very strongly. And so what seems to be resonating today is that this is a time of change. There is a lot of transition going on, both within our lives as well as within the external world. So instead of looking at change as scary or something that we want to try to resist, lean into it. See what areas that you can let go of things that are weighing you down or no longer serving you. And then think of where you can focus that energy in order to serve you along your journey to your highest and greatest self. So I hope this video served you overall. If it did, I would love it if you would hit that like button or hit the subscribe as we grow this channel and grow this community, that more people can be aware of these loving and supporting individuals that will gather here. So I hope you all stay well, my friends.